Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Internet. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're all very ready for what we got for you today because we are super stoked and we've actually been wanting to share with this what we've built for like way too long. So I'm super stoked that today we're able to share with you what we have been working on for over a year, like just on the hardware itself, voice even longer. Before we get started, let's just do a quick intro so that you know the people that are talking today, who they are. So my name is Paulus Schouten. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
My name is Jelo. I'm the product manager of Home Assistant.
I'm Madalena. I'm the lead of the product and design team at Home Assistant.
Hey, Mike Hansen. I'm one half of Nabucasa's research and development voice team.
I'm Kevin Arndt. I'm the other half.
Nice, the dream team. Okay, so
Amazing.
we've been working on voice for quite a while. We've made quite some improvements in the last couple of years. Mike, why don't you tell the people what we've been working on?
Yeah, so, oh boy, it's a lot. I'll try to get through this because everyone's anticipating what's coming. But so yeah, at the end of 2022, Nabucasa hired me to lead the Year of Voice in 2023. And we had and still have a very ambitious goal, which is allow users to control Home Assistant in their own language. So we created our own voice assistant called Assist, and we've been slowly working on it over the past 2 years. We started out with actually very little. At the beginning, all you could do is type a few text commands in English, things like turn on the light, turn off the light. So one of the first things we went into is to translate common smart home commands into various languages. We got our community involved, and we have a number of contributors called language leaders who kind of head these translations. And so very quickly, we got into over 50 languages started and continuing today. And many of them are fully translated. You can do a lot of things in them. So the next thing we did was add voice to this voice assistant by attaching it to Home Assistant Cloud for speech to text on the input and text to speech on the output. And we started getting Assist to run on various pieces of hardware, namely ESP home hardware, things like the M5 Atom Echo. We got that going, and this thing is cheap, little speaker, single mic, worked pretty well, but some downsides to it. We also got things like watches and regular phones, even analog phones, which is a fun one. You can pick up an old school phone and talk to your Home Assistant. All right, so then. As we got later into 2023, we ended up adding wake word support. So this was with a project called Open Wake Word. Very awesome, very cool community-driven project. It was a bit too big to run on these little ESP home devices. So what we did was we had the device stream audio to Home Assistant to do the processing there. This project's still going. There's a lot of great community wake words like choo choo homie, fun stuff. So we started focusing more of our development effort on the ESP32 S3 Box 3, which it's a cool little device, little touch screen. One of the issues with it though is the audio processing has to be done in software, so we would have had to use Espressif's closed source audio stack to do audio cleanup, but still a very cool device. Then in 2024, we got the bombshell micro wake word, thanks to Kevin. This is a wake word system that can run on devices like even tiny ones like these. And Kevin eventually joined Nabucasa to be part of the research and development team. And then as we finished up or have been finishing up 2024, we've got a lot of other cool things that have kind of filled out the rest of the voice assistant, things like context awareness. So, say turn on the lights and it turns on the lights in the room. Timers, big one for people, media control, and even AI, both local and cloud. So lots of cool stuff. So we're at the end of the year, but we're not done yet, right, Paulus?
Right. Thanks, Mike. Definitely. And so why are we doing this? Like, what is our vision, right? Mike already hinted at the beginning is let's make open, local, and private voice assistants a reality, something that anyone can use. And when we look at the open home, right, and we look at the open source smart home ecosystem that we have built together, like with our whole community, if we compare to other ecosystems, we see that We rule them all. Like, we are the best when it comes to integrating devices. We integrate more than anything else. We have the most powerful automation engine. We have super rich history. And our dashboards, they're so good, they're straight up getting copied now by our competitors. But the one part that was lacking, that was voice. There is no independent voice assistant. And when you look in over the years, what kind of open source projects have come out, there have been different projects that have tried to build parts of it, but nothing that like brought it all together. The open source Rhasspy project, which was started by Mike, it came close. It really aimed to bring it all together, but it needed some more energy, some more time, like a full-time employment. And that's why 2 years ago, we hired Mike to work at Nabu Casa, and we gave him a goal. Let's build this independent voice assistant, right? Let's make it as easy to use as possible for everyone. Now, as Mike just presented, we've made very good progress and improvements to voice. But a good voice assistant is not just software, it's hardware too. And there has been projects and products over the years and development boards that have tried to fill this void, but they all had to make concessions. Because to get a good independent voice assistant, we need open source voice assistant hardware. We need hardware that can cut through the noise and background music in your room and capture your voice crystal clear. We need hardware that has a speaker that allows you to hear the response of your voice assistant wherever you are in the room. And finally, we need hardware that is designed to be worthy of your living room, yet it doesn't cost a fortune. And that's what we've built. So I'm very, very, very proud to announce Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. Now,
Yay.
It's the one in the middle, everyone.
Yeah, we
I
missed
just
it.
wanted to put it on the screen.
That's a real picture, by the way. It's not a
Yes.
it's not a render.
Gonna render, yes. So I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, cool. What is it? What is it? And we're going to talk about every angle. We're going to talk about design, the hardware, the user experience that we've set, the technology that powers all of this, all the effort that went into it. But before all that, JLo, why don't you just give everyone a cool demo and let's do this.
Let's go. So give me a sec. So I just wanted to start with this. I think it's interesting, right? Like 1 year ago, this was the best.
This is the product, yes.
State of the art
I think it's funny. You know, like,
They don't give us the facts.
this is like we went on stage with Mike and we built this like a year ago. That was the best we had to offer. I'm joking. All right, so this is the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. I'm going to make a quick demo. As Paulus said, everything that I'm going to mention and demo, we are going to see it many times. Feel free to ask any question, but chances are we are going to cover it in a later section. All right, so it's a device with 2 microphones, one on each side, a speaker, a dial to control the volume and other things, a mute switch, a center button that has many purposes, a USB port and an audio jack to plug external speaker, and inside an ESP32S3 chip and an XMOS chip for advanced audio processing. The setup in Home Assistant takes about a minute, whether you use Home Assistant Cloud to process your voice or whether you're planning to use your voice to process your voice locally, I mean. It's a voice assistant, so the primary way to interact with the device is by voice. Okay, Nabu, turn on the lights.
Turned on the lights.
Okay, Nabu, turn off the lights.
Turned off the lights.
It used the same voice stack that we've been building over the last 2 years now. So you get everything you love about Assist, that you already know about Assist. For example, my current assistant has a fallback to OpenAI, so I can, wander off the strict set of sentence. Okay, Nabu, set the light to a fire-like color.
It seems there was an issue with setting the lights to a fire-like color.
Ah,
That's AI for you.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
specify
AI.
a color by name?
That's AI. It's fine. Okay, let's try.
And
Well,
you can
let's try
use the
another one.
center button to cancel the command, as you can see.
Yes. All right. Anyway, I like AI because that's just it. Like you never know what you're going to get. Anyway, Let's just go back on track. The center button, yes, is mostly an abort button, so it aborts everything happening on the device. OK, Nabo. I can also use the center button to start conversing with the device without having to wake it up. What's the temperature?
20.2 degrees.
Right? As you can see, the LEDs, they always show the most important information happening on the device. So you saw all of the different phases of the voice assistant. It's spinning in all the direction. If I don't mute it, there's different effects. There are about 20 LED animations on the device, and I actually want you to discover them yourself. The dial is primarily used to change the volume. We are going to stream music in a few minutes, so you're going to hear it. I can also use the dial to change the color of the active color of the LED by using the center button at the same time. So for now, everything is blue. Whether it's the LED, the center button, everything is blue. I'm going to change it to green. Now everything is green.
Nice.
On top of that, the center button can be used to... Yes, exactly, yeah. The center button can be used to control anything you have in Home Assistant via automation. So for example, right now I'm going to start streaming some music by long pressing. Just going to silent it the time I'm talking, but the music is still streaming. So the XMOS chips inside this device makes it possible to wake the device even if music is playing, actually pretty loud, and the music volume will actually duck down automatically. OK, Nabo. Pause.
Paused.
OK, Nabo. Resume.
Resumed.
OK, Nabo. Set a timer for 20 seconds.
Timer set for 20 seconds.
Here you can see that the LED shows the time remaining on my timer. And I will be able to stop the timer. I'm just going to and I will be able to stop the timer by pressing the button when it rings. But I can also stop the timer by voice by simply saying, stop, stop. OK, Nabo. Pause. All right, so this was a very brief overview of the Home Assistant Preview Edition. It's a voice assistant, open source, privacy-focused build for Home Assistant.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much,
Thank
JLo.
you so much.
And thank you,
Yeah.
thanks for AI.
For making
That
a
was
great
cool.
live demo.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a live demo, right? This is
Yes, and it's funny
make
because
that
you know what,
sacrifice.
I rehearsed the AI part like maybe, I don't know, 20 times, and I picked the correct sentence that always worked. That's the first time it didn't work.
But that's like the challenge that you can see, like all the big tech corporation is hitting, right? Like nobody can actually
Yeah.
like produce an AI powered like home voice assistant is because that is not 100% accurate all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like there's that 5% chance that's still like
Right. All right, let's get back to Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. So, JLo already kind of showed it. It's built for Home Assistant. It's super easy to get started. Once you unbox it, you plug it in, you can be up and running within minutes. And advanced audio processing, it cleans up the audio signal that's coming in, allows for the best performance on a speech to text. Like you see, you can experiment with AI, emphasis on experiment. It's fully open, community driven. Everything will be released as open source, and it can run locally or in the cloud. It is really up to you how you want to do it. Now, there is one big question that you're probably wondering is like, okay, how much is this device going to cost? $59 or 59 euros is our retail price. Now, we've done something different this time. It is normally we would announce a product. There would be like a limited stock. We would announce a product. It would sell out right away. And then every time we had a little bit stock, people would buy it. And like people were annoyed. Why is there not enough? This time we've done it different. This time there is actually enough stock. So if you go to our website, homeassistant.io, or you can go directly to homeassistant.io/voicepe, you can find an overview of your local voice dealers. And you can pick up your own Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition today. So it's available. It's in stock worldwide. There should be availability.
But still watch the stream.
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You should
Then-
probably.
Put us in the background. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We have soothing voices. Speaking of
or,
which,
I
what's
don't
in
know,
the
like
name?
buy five, then come back in 5 minutes, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
What does PE stands for in
Actually-
voice PE?
Very good. So you've seen it probably already. Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. Like, why is it Preview Edition? Is this product right for you? And the answer is, yeah, probably. So we've made the best hardware that we can make today. We are the Exmos chip that we're using. They are an industry-leading audio processing. Like, our capabilities of capturing your voice are right up there with the competition. However, there's still some rough edges on the software, and that's something that we're going to keep improving and we're going to keep iterating on over the coming years. But it means that today, if you're in the Home Assistant ecosystem, if you want to follow our development, if you like what we're doing, or if you have no other voice assistant yet, this device definitely a good fit. If you don't use Home Assistant today and you're on Google's ecosystem or Amazon's ecosystem, the shift to change to our voice assistant is probably too big. And so, to caution people and to make sure, like, listen, we're still improving this, we're still going to make this better, we slapped the label Preview Edition on it. Will it have this label forever? We don't know yet exactly how, when, where this will evolve. But yeah, this is built for the Home Assistant community in mind. And for them, this is a perfect product.
This is a journey, so come along with us on this journey.
Yes. Okay, Marlena, can I invite you to the stage to do some unboxing and highlight some of the very cool things? Like, you've been the designer, the mastermind behind all of this.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited about this, and thank you so much for having me here. And thank you so much for everyone who's like tuning in to the live stream. So I'm here to talk about like one of the deep dives now. Now that we look at all the basics of the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition, let's take a look at the hardware design. So here I'm going to show you, which is my camera. And here you can see this is a brand new box of Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition that is in my hands right now. If you press order from our website, you can also get one very soon in your hands too. But right now, I'm going to do the unboxing together, and let's see what's inside the box. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Cool. Let's do it. So first of all, as you can see, we have a nice cardboard box minimalist design. It's orange. I mean, this pretty much is this year's Pantone color. And yep. And when you look at the side, there's a signature tab that you would see like the same as the Home Assistant green that has the Home Assistant logo. We put a lot of details and thought in it, and that is like your first encounter of like our attention to details. So we want to make sure that we don't use any plastic. We use as little plastic as possible in the packaging of the design. So everything is cardboard here. The device is protected carefully with just cardboard. So if we open the tab, let's see what we got. Oh, so first thing you see is a sticker. It says, "Okay, Nabu." So this is not just any promotional stickers that like you put it anywhere. This is actually a useful sticker. It's functional. It helps like if you want to introduce Home Assistant Voice to your family and to your household, they need to know the wake word, right? And having a sticker right next to the device helps you remember that that's the wake word, which is "Okay, Nabu." And it's very cute. Look at that little mascot that we have here. All the kids will love it. So
They do.
second is that we have like a quick start guide. So in the front, there's a QR code that you can see. Go to the documentation website. It has very basic, simple, easy to follow instruction to get it set up. And on the back, we have a little cue card here for what can I say. So this is, again, very important. One of the biggest problems in terms of voice user experience is the discoverability of voice commands. So having a cue card here right next to, like, for example, the device, it can help you and like anybody that is in your household to learn like what the basic commands that they can use to activate the voice assistant.
Now, of
For
course,
example,
a lot of these will change depending on what's in your house, right?
Exactly. These are the basic common ones, but yeah, so there are a lot others that you can use too. You can make your own custom ones, which you can look at our tutorials to learn more. So, and then of course there's warranty and safety information.
Super important. Read it
Yep.
all.
Yeah.
And
wait,
inside,
are we gonna read the whole thing on the live stream?
yeah, let's go through it together.
In every
safety
language.
instructions.
Yeah.
Nice try. So inside is the device. As you can see, this actually have no plastic wrap around it. It's just the device by itself. And the way that like the paper and the cardboard is designed, then the device is designed is to make sure that there would be like it would not scratch the device too much. And also because like it's a texture case too. So we try to reduce fingerprint and also like scratches this way. So that is the packaging design. Very exciting, and yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So speaking of which, I do want to like take a look at the journey that we have to lead all the way here. So the journey of designing the device like started like almost a year ago. We went through many different iterations. One of the main focus is, of course, to make sure that it has the best sound quality possible for the microphone. So our design principles of our hardware emphasize that our devices need to be trustworthy and functional first. And then after that, its sustainability is also the most important. And then only after that is aesthetics, and also like make sure that the cost is affordable for everyone. And every details, as you can see, scrutinized. We make sure that like it has nice little surprises in the PCB too. You'll find out later. If you look at the device itself, it has a nice translucent enclosure, and also like the bottom of it is nice and clear. You can like if light shines through it, this is an actual photo. You can actually like see the light that is like behind the device, which is pretty cool. You can actually kind of see what's inside, but also it's not fully transparent. So we don't want to make it too nerdy that you can see the PCB and all that. But at the same time, like the shadows make it feel like it's almost like marble-ish, which is pretty cool. And the fronts, speaking of which, if you are like me, who is like an elder millennial myself, you probably have grown up in the period that Apple released a product called, some people use called the iPod. And it has like the wheel and the button. And like we really like the geometry, the simplicity of this. Like everything is proportionally correct. Like we actually adjusted the distance of the sizes of these like things a few times to make sure that it looks great, but at the same time unobtrusive for your living room. So you can put it in anywhere in the house, bathroom, kitchen, anywhere, and it will like it looks great, but at the same time, it wouldn't try to catch too much of attention. Speaking of which, like even though I said it looks similar to iPod, it is important to note that this is not a click wheel. So in the way that a click wheel is that you can actually both tap and spin at the same time. The top controls here is mainly it's only just the wheel, and you can use it as a dial, as JLo has demonstrated. There's a center button, and then around all that is the LED ring. So it has a 12.
One second,
LED
Malay. I want to
ring.
before you
Yes.
continue, because I think it's important to say this dial is not a capacitive touch. This is a real dial that you feel it click, you hear it click. It's been like a great fidget spinner on my desk as well. It's very satisfying to rotate.
I mean, if you have the microphone, you probably can't hear mine because I'm not going to do that, but you can do ASMR with the click. It's like a very nice clicky feeling. Gives you the nice
it's all filtered
freshy.
out through all the processing now.
And the middle button is also very nice and tactile, so you know that you're like sending a command very easily. Yeah, I like how it feels. The top also we make sure that it's a nice satin sheen polish, but at the same time it's not a fingerprint magnet. I know that's shiny. looks like pretty, but at the same time, we need to be practical. Like this is like not a
Yeah.
fingerprint magnet, easy to clean. So let's take a look at the details. As you can see, there are two microphones there. The reason there are two microphones is that we are using the XMOS XU316 chip. And in the specification of this chip specifically, we have to make sure that the two microphones are 70 millimeters apart. And if you look at the close-up of the device, you can actually see that there's a tiny rubber gasket around it. The way that we design it is to make sure that the sound that is from the outside is transferred through the gasket onto the microphone with no noise and interference that are in between the top enclosure and the microphone itself. What that also means is that if you're going to modify this case, which we're going to show it later, is that as long as you keep the gasket there, you can ensure that the microphone quality is on par as the same of the main, like the default enclosure. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Another thing that you can see on the side is the mute switch. When you toggle that, it has also a nice click to it. You can actually kind of see the color of the mic switch that is behind it. So it hinted at you that this is a switch for muting. And when you slide it, it will turn red. And also the LED ring of the top will also turn red as well. So
this is a hardware mute as well, so it cuts the mics, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely not be listening. The device won't be listening when that is on.
I think it was like a mandate, right, for us, like a privacy settings, etc. We wanted like the hardware mute switch from the beginning.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, we even debated whether the color should be orange because iPhone actually uses orange for the mute switch, but we use red because it's consistent with the rest of the design of Home Assistant. We do use red for something that you need attention for. At the top, oh no, actually, on the front is here is the speaker grill. It's a very nice like array of like tiny holes, as you can see in my background here, but you probably cannot. It's like I have a book of like dioramas with me. It's like very much that same minimalist aesthetic. So as you can see, that's like very much inspired by that. And the hose behind the hose is like there is a speakers that is like a good for projecting the sound output from your voice response, the voice response of the voice assistant. So we designed the speakers, we specify it so that it's a loud enough speaker that you can hear the response from across like a normal size living room, right? So the distance that the microphone can hear you is the same as the distance that the speaker can project the sound. One thing to note that this is not a music speaker, so please don't expect to listen to like Radiohead on this because it would not sound that good. For that, we have luckily another option, which is the 3.5 millimeter jack at the back. So as you can see, there are multiple ports here. The USB-C port and a 3.5 millimeter jack for outputting music or amplifying the sounds of the voice response. The USB-C port is a 5-volt, 1 amp USB-C port. And as you can see, actually, from the packaging, we actually do not include like any like USB-C cable for sustainability reasons. Like we don't want to create waste. We know that everyone uses a different length cable to connect to the device. And you probably get a USB-C cable, you probably have a drawer of that just like me. That's full of USB-C cables. So we don't want to like introduce more waste to the environment. And yeah, so that's the cable. And you can also use any power source that can output 5 volts, 1 amp to power this on.
Yeah.
And at the back, you might see that there's a tab here, and that's what it's called a growth port. So growth port is a standard that is introduced by Seed quite many years ago, and as you can see, it has 4 pins. We're going to talk about this more later. and how you can use it. So let's see. Let's go back to the slide. And that's all for the hardware design of the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. Everything feels very nice weight to it. It looked great in your living room, in your kitchen, in your bathroom, next to your bed. We want to make sure that this is the best microphone and speaker that you can get for using voice assistant with Home Assistant. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation. And thank you so much for having me here again.
Awesome. Thank you
you.
so much. This was great.
All right.
Okay, JLo.
Yes, sorry, I took the.
No, it's good.
Yep, let's hand the mic to JLo. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. When we presented the device at the beginning, we said that the first kind of pillar of the device is that it's built for Home Assistant. I want to take a step back here. We built things for this device. We built it in a way that it is, yes, built for Home Assistant, but I think what matters the most is that we shaped a new user experience for any voice assistants that are going to interface with Home Assistant. And I think it's kind of like our vision. We want many voice assistants. We want a variety of voice assistants, but we would like the same user experience for you. And it starts exactly where Madalena stopped a few seconds ago, which is the onboarding experience. What happens when you unbox the device and you plug it for the first time. So I'm going to show this demo as a video because it happens on the phone. It's a bit messy to demo, but it's going to be live. And so this is the experience the first time you plug the device. I'm going to pause the video to explain a bit what happens. Right now I'm fiddling to plug it.
You don't even have to flip
it. Yeah, I don't have to. Yeah. So the first thing that happens when you plug the device, it twinkles in some kind of like warm white color, which basically means I'm not yet connected to your local network. So let's do just that. Let's connect this device to our local network. I'm going to open Home Assistant. I'm going to go to Settings, Device and Services, and I will see a discovery, Improve BLE discovery. The name, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that when I click on Add, you can see that it is a native flow. This is because this flow uses the Bluetooth antenna of your phone to push the credentials of your Wi-Fi network on the device. This is like, I'm going to call it, or I'm going to quote, we'll say like it's a Matter-like flow. This is the same thing for Matter, like you put the phone next to your device and then you push the credentials to the device, same thing here. If you don't want to use the phone, you can still use your laptop, but you need Bluetooth proxies in your home to do that, etc. It's a bit more messy. The phone is extremely simple. So, whoop, this is more or less, okay, Wi-Fi credential. So I'm inputting my Wi-Fi credential. I'm going to pause now. For privacy reasons also, right? We are Home Assistant. We care deeply about the privacy of our users. We wanted to make sure that you cannot onboard this device if you're not next to it, mostly because it has microphones. And so in order to actually write the credentials on your phone, on the device, you need to press the button. So the phone prompts you to press the authorization button, which you have to do. Click. And that's about it for onboarding the device to your Wi-Fi network. Once this is done, once the device is connected to the Wi-Fi, the color changes, it becomes blue. Blue means I'm searching for Home Assistant. Okay, we just found it. And a wizard, an onboarding wizard, which is, I think, the first time in Home Assistant that we have an onboarding wizard. So usually, I would say the experience of onboarding a device in Home Assistant is a bit bare bone, like it's like, boom, that's your device. But this one is a bit more complex because it depends what you want to do. You may need a bunch of steps along the way to be able to go from here to usable. And so this wizard has been created with a single goal in mind, which is to guide you from wherever you are to a usable device. Which basically means that this wizard has a lot of paths. I'm going to show one path there, but Mike will show another path in the next part. And just so you know, so that you can follow, I am logged into Home Assistant Cloud. So that's going to be the path I'm going to choose there. Well, mostly that's going to be the path that the wizard is going to choose. But if you are not, we are still going to help you throughout your local journey. So coming back, the first thing we do with the wizard is that we are updating the device, or we are looking for updates to the device. This is because we want to make sure that you have the latest and greatest. If you buy the device, I will tell you 100% that you will get an update, because we have been working so hard since the moment that we shipped the update to the manufacturer than now. So we have a lot of updates to ship. Small welcome sound. And the first thing we tell you is to play with the wake word, because we want to make sure that you have the correct wake word. Okay, Nabu. I'm going to play a bit with the wake word. The device ships with 3 wake words for now. Okay, Nabu, A Jarvis, and A Mycroft. And I'm going to just test them all on the wizard. So you can basically test which one fits best for you. A Jarvis. And also your secondary users. A Mycroft. All right, so I'm going to go back to OK Nabu. We ask the users to say the wake word twice. OK Nabu. And this is just to make sure that you have the right one, more or less. Select an area for the one that understand a bit how, the whole architecture of Home Assistant. An area has never been mandatory for a device. It's not the case there also. But for a voice assistant, it's very complex, because most of the commands need context to be able to work, right? Like, for example, in my initial demo, I said turn on the lights, and the only lights that turned on was this LED matrix that I had there, because it was on the same area. So we are pushing you to actually put this device on an area. And for this flow, it's done, because I was already on Home Assistant Cloud. I already had an assistant, and so I got onboarded, more or less. I'm ready I'm ready to voice in about 1 minute. I'm ready to voice, yes. That's a nice way of saying it. All right, so let's go back to the slides. We created a voice assistant wizard. And again, I think the most important thing is that, yes, we created it for that device, but we didn't create it for that device. We created it for all of the voice assistants that are going to interface with Home Assistant, because a voice assistant requires steps along the way so that you can actually make it work. And so this would be, sorry, go ahead.
Well, so this is also going to come to all the other voice systems that we've been using in the last year. So if you use the Atom Echo Lite, S3 box, those will also be able to leverage this wizard to be able to get to a working voice assistant the moment you connect them to your Home Assistant installation.
Yeah. And so it goes through automatic update, wake word selection, cloud versus local, which is the part we didn't see. I'm spoiling it on the right side of the slide. If you choose local, we are even installing, starting, and configuring the add-on for you. So in a few minutes, I'm going to spoil it, but you're going to see like a one-click local setup, which usually takes a lot of time.
Many clicks.
A lot of time. Many clicks. Yeah. And even the assistant creation, if you don't even have an assistant, the assistant is what we were usually previously referring to the pipeline, like the software component that ties everything together, the voice, the brain, etc. So we are even creating it if you don't have anything. Because again, the goal is to get you up and running fast, right? Yeah. You have like many starting points. We want one endpoint, which is you can voice, more or less. So that's basically it, yeah. The device comes with a lot of customization, which is also something that we would like to see in all of the voice assistants. Sorry, am I sharing the correct screen? Yes, okay, my bad. Brain fart. Wake word selection, assistant selection. This is something that, the assistant selection is something that you already know for a long time. The wake word selection is new. This is the wake word coming from the device itself, which is great, right? Any kind of customization for this particular device, that would be like the color of the LED ring. You saw me changing the color of the LED ring in the initial demo. You can also do it in Home Assistant, which means that you can also automate it, which is great. I don't know if you heard, but in the initial demo there is a sound every time I say the wake word. It's something that is also configurable if you want, and you can obviously mute the device software-wise also. And we have this nice logic between the software and the hardware-wise, which I'm not going to go into detail, but except saying it makes sense, right? So you can mute and unmute if it's unmuted. It makes sense.
The only limitation the only limitation, of course, we have is that when you have it hardware muted, you cannot unmute it, right? Like you have to physically connect the connectors again to make it work again.
I think it's a nice touch for all of the interaction between primary users, admin, and the secondary users of the home, right? If I have guests, I can just tell them like, this is how you mute the device, and I cannot unmute them. But then at the same time, I can say like in automation, if the TV is on, if I'm watching a movie, mute the device, for example. So, and these two lives very well. So that's very nice.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we worked on is LED animations and sound design. Again, as I said, we have about 20 LED animations, which I don't want to demo actually. I want you to discover them. But to put simply, every interaction with the device has an LED animation. Muted, silent, muted and silent. You plug the jack in, you unplug the jack, you touch the button, all of the voice assistant phase, etc., etc. And this is something that, of course, we are open sourcing. It's on the firmware, and we also want this to be the new gold standard user experience for voice. And then we are good with LED animation. We are very bad with sound. So we actually paid someone to make the sound. So we paid someone, his name is Clayton, and we designed together the sound experience of a voice assistant in Home Assistant. And yes, we are also open sourcing this. It's in the repository, and we are already seeing a few projects that are using the same sound as us, which is very cool.
I find this so cool, right? What we're building here, by putting it out, not only by updating Home Assistant, make this available to anyone who's building a voice assistant, the end user will have a singular experience, right? Doesn't matter who sold them a voice assistant. It means that you can have a single way of sharing automations and wake words and voices, and everything can be easily shared. And that is how we as a community, we can really build something bigger, right? Something bigger than just one company selling a voice assistant could provide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to summarize the first, I would say, like the first pillar, I'm going to call it pillar of this device, built for Home Assistant. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. Built for Home Assistant. I would say, like, to summarize it in one sentence is, yes, it's the best hardware that we created right now, but it's also we are also created at the same time along the way the fastest way to get up and running with voice, right? So you have a wizard. It basically guides you through all the choices. You end up with a device that is set up yet extensively customizable. You can change the wake word, you can change the assistant, you can change its color, you can change if you want sound, if you don't want sound, etc. So this is more or less what we built for this part. And now I'm passing the mic to Mike, which is my best sentence to say.
Perfect.
Mike,
thank you,
the
JLo.
voice.
The voice. So I'm going to talk a little bit about bringing choice to voice here. So, Home Assistant Cloud, as we've said, it's going to offer you the best experience out of the box for your Voice Preview Edition, or VPE for short. But of course, Home Assistant is about choice, right? Not just our cloud, not just somebody else's cloud, but also local choice. So if you've been following the year of voice, which, as I say, morphed into the decade of voice, local options have been available for a while, and they're being worked on. And in fact, more will be coming next year, which I'll touch on a little bit here. In fact, so for local options, the Voice Wizard, as JLo mentioned, can help guide you through that. So if we could show that demo video.
Of course, yeah. So this is the same Voice Wizard that you saw like a minute ago, but I'm not logged in Home Assistant Cloud, and I want to use local.
Love the sounds.
Sound designed by
Look at the
Clayton.
cute mascot.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
You'll wake up the sleeping mascot.
And
Put in your bathroom again.
Yes.
So here there's a little bit of a speed comparison to tell you, look, if you're going to run this on local hardware, depending on what you have, you're going to get some more delays. So as you saw with JLo and Home Assistant Cloud, very fast to get back and forth, but there's going to be a little bit of delay probably on your hardware. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to click Setup here.
Yep.
And what this is going to do now is install two important add-ons. Whisper, this comes from OpenAI, and this is for speech to text, where the system listens to your voice command and turns it into text. And then there's Piper, which is our own text-to-speech system that we built, which takes a text response from the agent and turns it into speech. And it will get both of these add-ons set up for you. Go ahead.
Well, this video is not sped up, right? This is like, it is actually this fast when like we do all the tasks scripted in sequence.
That's right. And so what's the hardware this is running on, JLo?
N100. So
Yeah.
it's like a 12th generation Intel chip that is usually. Sorry, by the way, now I pause the video, right? Now it's simple. On like it's a very small nuke PC, nuke-like PC, which is actually
this-
pretty.
yeah. The
it's pretty common in the
N100
community,
platform
yes.
by Intel, that is our recommended hardware for local voice. That is like the bare minimum.
Yep. And so here it's created a local assistant.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to want to try out the different voices with Piper and pick one. There's a lot of different variations in quality. A lot of these were trained from open source data sets or actually provided by the Home Assistant community. So if you try a voice and you say, this could be better, well, you're welcome to contribute. We would love to have your data to help.
But still, like it's crazy to think that this was like the path to testing local. And again, like I mean, we are trying to be realistic. You may need to tune it, right? But at least it's going to work. And it took, I don't know, 2 minutes, something like this, to have like all of the components to process your voice locally. It's yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Mike, getting your slides back.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about what it means here for local support to have a language that's supported in local. So as you know, if you have a lower powered device like a Raspberry Pi 4, Home Assistant Green, these are awesome devices for running the Home Assistant itself, but voice processing can sometimes strain these devices, which is why we have the cloud option to offload that processing, right? If you're going to go local, we recommend out of the gate something like an Intel N100 or better. Especially for Whisper, if you know what you're doing and you have like a graphics processor with a couple of gigs of VRAM, you can get really fast, really large models that have high accuracy running.
So Mike, the whisper part, the speech to text part is usually the bottleneck. That's the part that is complex.
Yeah, what's great about the text-to-speech is that once a response has been synthesized into audio, it's cached by Home Assistant, and so there's no need to rerun it every single time.
So it's faster and it's cached.
Yep. Yeah. But speech-to-text, if the assistant knew what you were going to say before you said it, then, well, we'd be in a different situation. So let's jump ahead here. So finding support for a language means kind of finding a path through these three different components. We talked about a speech to text and the text to speech. The other part that touches is Home Assistant itself with intent processing. So this is where the text of the voice command is interpreted and an action is taken by Home Assistant. So typically in the default path, I'll say if you have Home Assistant Cloud, we use Cloud on either end, and then Home Assistant itself will process your command locally. This part is very fast. The other option for like Cloud is to use OpenAI or something like that. We'll talk about a little bit later. But this is the standard path if you have Cloud. If you're going for local, this will be the path that you would want to take. You have Whisper on one end and you have Piper on another. So let's see. The issue here is language support needs to be on both sides, right? And it needs to be supported well. So if we actually look at a large list of languages and which ones have a nice Whisper model and a nice Piper model that will run on the recommended hardware, the N100, we get about 8 languages / dialects. We got 2 dialects of English here that we would consider, we would feel comfortable saying these are supported. So if you're using one of these languages and you have the recommended hardware, you'd be good to go today. But that's not to say that, there's more coming next year, certainly. Now, if
or like a demo in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, let's also have a demo here to show you. Just as a contrast here, this is the language support that we would have on both sides for Home Assistant Cloud. So there's a lot more coverage here.
And something important about the slide just before, we have to draw the line somewhere. And so this is the language that we consider acceptable on our recommended hardware, which means that if you know what you're doing and you have a very powerful hardware, more language may become green. Yeah. For example, I know for a fact that French on the local or recommended hardware is bad. But if you have a better hardware and you are able to run larger models, it becomes quite usable. Right? So we have to draw the line somewhere, and this is where we draw it.
So for me, I kind of take this as a challenge, right? And this is part of the preview edition thing, is that this is a journey for people to come on with us, and especially if you don't see your language, in any commercial or any voice assistant, this is something where you can help contribute, and we can change that. We can add models for speech to text and text to speech, and we can make this better for everybody, not just for Home Assistant, but for everybody. So I take that as a challenge. And let's see, what do I got? Oh, we're gonna see some local demos here now with local voice, and we're gonna see it from two angles. First, I'm gonna demo a well-supported language, which is English, and then Jayla's gonna demo a not so well-supported with the default hardware language, which is French. So let me jump over to this tab. Can we see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got my VPE here. And this is hooked up to a Home Assistant demo instance that's running on a little mini PC I have over here. So this is running on an i5 that's 11 years old, from 2003. Okay, so this is using Whisper with the recommended settings. For the Whisper nerds, that's the base model with the beam size of 5. So let's give it a try. I'm going to do a couple of commands, and we'll see if this is working. Open garage door.
Roger door opening asterisk clicks asterisk. The Roger door is now open.
Now that's interesting. Let's try it again. Open the garage door.
Opened.
There we go.
Nice.
All right. Turn on the lights.
Turned on the lights.
I should mention too, so this is running 100% local, both on the text-to-speech side and on the speech-to-text side.
It's fast.
And it's pretty, it's only a second or two. Go ahead, Jayla.
Why don't you say the wake word? You don't want to.
Oh yeah, I don't want to trigger everybody else's assistants. So this works pretty open-ended here. I'll even show. We'll add something to the shopping list. Add Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition to my shopping list.
Added Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition.
All right.
Oh wow!
Instant update too. Huh? This is what I love about our dashboards. It's so good.
Yep.
And so I even have this just for fun. I have it hooked up to a local AI instance running Llama 3.3. So this is 100% local. Let's see how this works. What is the largest open source smart home platform?
Home Assistant is considered the largest open source smart home automation platform with over 10 million installations worldwide.
Oh wow!
we're not
Which
there
AI
yet.
is that? I'm gonna use this AI now.
Again, this is AI. And with Whisper, even this will work with. You can customize your voice commands in Home Assistant by adding a sentence trigger to an automation. So I'll close with that. Good night.
Nice. Turning off the lights.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Nice.
Sleep tight, don't let that.
The-
So lock the
just
door,
out-
all that stuff. Go ahead.
Out of curiosity, Mike, the Olama was also running on the 12 years old i5 processor?
No, that was
No,
running
okay.
on a far more expensive
Yes.
machine that I used to train the voices. However, this did demo the fallback capability.
Yeah.
So what we have been it was into the December release, right, Paulus?
Yeah. We just
It was-
launched it.
yeah.
Just launched. So you can set Home Assistant, if it can understand your command, it will do it right then and there. And if it can't, and you have a fallback, it will go out to the AI agent.
I
Nice.
do really much like the irony of the fact that the two fallback demos that we did, the cloud one failed, which was mine,
Yes.
and yours worked. I do like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right, Jayla, let's
Sorry,
see what you got.
Yes. So just a bit of setup context. Sorry. French is not supported, and I'm actually happy that we are not saying it's supported because you will see it right now. I'm going to make a demo about Whisper in French. and it's not supported. And again, like there are ways of making it supported, and usually the way if you stay on this Whisper world, which is running a larger model. But if you run a larger model, you need more hardware, or you need to be okay with having longer delays so that the command is actually processed. So I'm just going to share my screen up, and I'm going to start. So yes, let me make sure. Yes, so this is Whisper. I'm going to try to make a few comments. I will of course explain you what I'm trying to do because I'm going to speak French. Let's start to try to turn on this light and then turn it back off. Ok, Naboo, allume la lumière.
Désolé, je n'ai pas compris.
So this sentence that you heard, you're going to hear it quite a lot. This means sorry, I didn't understand. Well, I wanted to turn it off, but it's already off. Let's try it again. Try again. Ok, Naboo, allume la lumière.
D'accord.
Yeah, okay, so this one worked. That's cool. Let's try to turn it off. Ok, Naboo, éteindre la lumière.
Désolé, je n'ai pas compris.
I'm going to need to just turn off the light manually, which was not I was not prepared.
Like a caveman.
Actually.
What were you saying? What were you actually saying in French? I
You have
don't
to
know
use your
French.
hands.
Right. Okay. No, I'm
Cool.
still using Home Assistant. I have to find the entity. And let's try to just set a timer, for example, a timer for like 1 minute. Ok, Naboo. Minuteur, 1 minute.
Désolé, je n'ai pas compris.
All right, so this was more or less, this is kind of the experience that we have to offer in French if you run the recommended hardware today, right? So again, there is multiple paths. I'm going to actually show another path right now. And actually, I'm going to make it interesting. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing. So I just changed something because I'm going to let Mike explain what I'm doing. So I just changed something.
Where will it run on, what you're doing now?
It's a green.
Home Assistant Green, okay.
Home Assistant Green. So Home Assistant Green is like a Raspberry Pi 4 equivalent, okay? And it's fully local. So I'm going to turn on the light, turn off the lights, maybe change the color a few times, and I'm going to try to set a timer and cancel it, something like this. Ok, Naboo, allume la lumière.
D'accord.
Ok, Naboo, allume la lumière en rouge.
D'accord.
Nice.
Ok, Naboo, éteindre la lumière.
D'accord.
Ok, Naboo, minuteur, 1 minute.
D'accord.
So that's the timer, 1 minute, and I'm going to cancel it. Ok, Naboo, supprime le minuteur.
D'accord.
All right, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? I guess I'm going to just let Mike explain, right? I can chime in a bit, but I think you can explain much better than me.
Yes. So let's bring up my slides again,
Yes, sorry.
please.
I got it.
Thank you. All right. So yeah, what the heck? So in the first case, this was running Whisper on an N100, a $200-ish machine, and then we have something running locally on Home Assistant Green. So for people who have been following me, they know I've been in the open source voice scene for a while. Before joining Nabu Casa, I worked for Mycroft, which a company that paved the way for a lot of open source voice stuff. And before that, I built this thing called Rhasspy, which is an open source voice toolkit that was really focused on lower end hardware like the Raspberry Pi 3 at the time. So what I have done here is this is coming 2025. So this is an add-on that's going to be, it's called Rhasspy Speech. This is not a replacement for Whisper. This is an alternative with some compromises that I think a lot of people will vibe with, as the kids say. So what this does is it runs fully locally. It runs very fast, about 1 to 1.5 seconds on Raspberry Pi 4 class hardware, Home Assistant Green. And the way it's able to do this is it changes the question from what did the user say to which of these commands did the user say? And so it provides a limited voice experience. It automatically trains itself on your entity and your area names, and then it has a fixed set of commands, which you can extend, by the way, but it only recognizes those. So this is kind of an example of users need to adapt to the technology rather than the technology adapting to the users. But I think it's a good compromise for a lot of people. and the list of languages I'm slowly growing here. So this is something for me that's going to be a focus and kind of bringing local voice on low-powered hardware, in stronger into this ecosystem.
Yeah. And this is something, Mike, if people really want a sneak peek of this, they can try today, right?
Yes, they can try to.
It's interesting because this is not something that we are keeping under wraps. You go to the add-on store, you search for Rhasspy speech, you find it. It's just that what's coming in 2025 is we know which language are supported. We kind of know your hardware. And so we would like the wizards to actually pick between Whisper and Rhasspy speech, or let you choose between these two. And this is not included. So today, if you go to the local path of the wizard, it's going to be Whisper. And if you are speaking a language that is not supported, you may have a bad experience, even if technically there is something great that is just next to it, what we are calling the limited experience. And it is delimited, by the way. If I'm starting to say turn on the light with a fire-like color, things like this, it's not going to understand it because it's not part of the sentence. But to be honest, if you want to control your house, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, you will be able to extend these things, but it's still that limited set. So, I would love to hear if so. This is Rhasspy Speech Preview Edition. If people would try it out, I would love feedback and love to hear what languages you think should be in there.
Nice.
Right,
what is the list of language next to it, and what is the green one, and what are the gray ones?
Yeah, so the whole list is all of the languages that are currently in there. The green ones are the ones I have the most confidence in right now. They're the ones that I've used previously in Rhasspy. The other ones are brand new, and I'm going to need feedback from actual native speakers to understand if they're working well enough.
It's actually interesting because you just forgot French.
Oh, you're right. I did.
It's fine.
French is in there and green, by the way.
Yes.
Oops. Okay.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Mike, Jello, for this part. Let's go to the next part, which is fully open. And we said this already in the beginning. Everything around Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition will be open source. The schematics, the PCB, the 3D models of the case, the ESP home-based firmware, a YAML file. It's very easy to customize. You don't have to learn C++ or anything to start customizing this. It is inside Home Assistant, of course, customizable. Everything is open, and we want to really kickstart an ecosystem of people making open voice assistants. Not just Nabukasa making voice assistants. I want there to be 10, 20 voice assistants. And we already know from a few groups of people that they are working on things based on our code, which I'm really stoked about to share with everybody once they're done, because more choice is better, right? We're building something, but maybe there's a whole different paradigm that people want to experience, like a voice. Marlene will have an example, for example, in a bit later slide. So there's some really cool things possible. But now I want to talk about, because everything is open and because also the 3D models is open, you can actually tweak at every layer of your voice assistant and do cool stuff. So, for example, we've already shown it many times now. You can actually talk to AI. You can talk to local AI through Ollama. That is what Mike showed. You can talk to any of the local models. Ollama supports them all. But of course, you can talk to Google Gemini or OpenAI ChatGPT or Anthropic Claude. You just hook in your API key, and Home Assistant will use that as the brains of your voice assistant. And this AI, they can actually control your home, right? So we have this whole API that we expose to LLMs, and they can control your home. It's really cool.
And since the last release, which I just love it. It seems small, but I love it. Is that you don't even need to make the choice. You can say everything is local, and I'm just falling back to AI wherever AI might be for you as a fallback, which is great because you have a singular assistant that is extremely fast to turn on lights, but then you can start conversing with it, which is something I really like.
Never hear. Sorry, I couldn't understand that again. Right.
Exactly. And it really helps. So I'm going to show you a quick video, and I'll pause it at a few moments of how it looks like to use AI, but also some of the other features.
How many players can play Among Us?
Among Us can be played by 4 to 15 players in a single game. This player range allows for diverse gameplay dynamics, involving both crewmates and imposters.
So, pausing it here for a quick second. My son just grabbed a device here that I built myself. This is another smart home device, an ESP home device that I built. It has 2 buttons where each button is like an arcade-style button with an LED built in. And each button, once he presses it, it will select a new voice assistant. A new voice assistant that is tied still to ChatGPT, but now with a different language. It's a different speech-to-text, a different text-to-speech. And ChatGPT, which knows all these languages, will also now answer in those languages.
Nederlands.
Wie is de meest beroemde Nederlands voetballer?
Oh, what language is that?
That's Dutch.
Ah, he can speak 2 languages.
Oh
De
yeah.
meest beroemde Nederlandse voetballer is Johan Cruijff. Hij wordt wereldwijd erkend als een van de grootste voetballers aller tijden.
Just lowering the volume a little bit
Cruijff was
because
bekend om zijn
when
ongelooflijke technische
the
vaardigheden
AI
en
can
zijn
be really
strategische
like
inzicht in het
give
spel.
long answers, and I
Hij
know
heeft
not
grote
everybody in
invloed
the
gehad op
stream
het moderne
speaks
voetbal,
Dutch yet.
zowel als speler en als coach.
Dansk.
So you hear the voice assistant actually say something, and that is what we call an announcement. So you can send text to the voice assistant, and it will say that text in the voice of the voice assistant. That way, if a user is interacting with this voice assistant and later it gets an announcement, it knows it was the voice assistant saying it to them.
Hvad er det mest populære dansk legetøj?
What language is that now?
That's Danish.
Wait, he can speak 3 languages?
Yeah,
Det
we
mest
speak
populære danske
3
legetøj er
languages.
Lego.
Oh, wow, that's
Lego-klodserne er kendt verden over.
amazing.
So, thanks. Yeah, no. So this is like just a kind of cool thing, and my kids are using this like all the time right now to just in the house mess with stuff and like just a lot of these random questions that are being asked all day by kids. My son is 6, no 7 actually. He's 7. They are now being answered by this device.
What's your AI bill?
My AI
Honestly.
bill is not so high. I do use the bigger models, the 4.0, not 4.0 mini, but I think it's only like $6-7.
Interesting. I thought you were a Gemini guy.
I used Gemini for the smart home part. Gemini is super fast, but when it comes to like long answers, I use 4.0.
I'm Olama.
Nice. I'm going to give us a small little hint. If you have kids that are going to use the device, they love the button, by the way. But there's a little setting in the voice assistant called finished speaking detection, and if you set that to relaxed, it will give more leeway for silence because kids often they have to think about what they're going to say next.
Yeah.
So helps with frustration.
And kind of almost the opposite. If you are really using your voice assistant only to send command, you can put it to aggressive, and the end of the speech is detected super fast, and so you have your answer faster. It's kind of a balance, more or less.
Okay, JLo, you want to talk a bit about like the buttons?
Yes, of course. No demo because there was one before and there will be one right after. But when we built the firmware for the device, we decided that the center button will be first for I would say for us, like we are going to control what it does, and then for you. So the single press of the button always does what I hope you would assume it does. So if something is running, it aborts it. Meaning if music is playing, it's going to pause it. If a timer is ringing, it's going to pause it. And then what you saw, which is kind of the best thing, is if you just say, okay, Nabu, you can just say, no, actually, I don't want to talk to you. Everything else, and it is double pressing, triple pressing, and long pressing, is exposed as an event entity, a regular event entity in Home Assistant, which basically means that it opens the possibility to automate whatever you want with it. And it has been very interesting. In the first demo, I long pressed to start music. In my home, I have one that is next to my front door, and I basically shut down my house by long pressing on it. the one next to my nightstand. When I long press, I start sleep mode and I end sleep mode, which is also super interesting. So it's a device that is first a voice assistant. I also want to see it kind of as a secondary control for something else. And we saw some very nice recipe automations for that. Especially when you have like multiple of them in the room, in the house, you can do very interesting things. So that's more like automating from the device, like using the device as a trigger for automating. Then the device has a bunch of entities, of course, and these entities can be automated. Actually, you saw that in the videos of Paulus. When his son was clicking on the buttons, it was changing things on the device, which was the assistant. He could have even changed the wake word. I mean, well, he was using the button. You can change the color of the ring. You can change many things. And I think we are going to see demos from both of these sides right now. And I think that's the first one is going to be Madalena. From the left side, which is automating from the device, using the device to do something in your home.
Yeah, let me try to set up my camera first. So now you can see my backdrop, and I actually gonna zoom out, and you can actually see there's a giant super collider ring behind me, made of WLED. So I'm going to kind of trying a voice command now. So let's see what happens.
This was the initial size of the voice preview edition, and then we decided to just shrink it down a bit.
So let's see. Okay, Nabu. Tell me something about Home Assistant, the software. Is thinking now.
Home Assistant is an open source home automation platform that allows users to
I love it.
That's great.
I feel like a wizard. I open a portal behind me.
I love the fact that you use the same animation, so that's like that's the voice experience, right?
Yeah, it matches the LED ring that we have on the device.
Attach this to your back and walk around like this. Yeah. I think it would be great.
And I just want to show you how easy it is to actually make this automation. This automation is basically made of just like when the assist satellite is listening.
Can you zoom in a little?
Oh yeah, of course. So either when the device is listening, processing, responding, or idling, and then it just triggered the WLED is to turn it on and off. Yeah, it is called Super Collide. So if I say like, okay, Nabu, what time is it?
The current time is 16 hours, 12 minutes, and 59 seconds.
Isn't that amazing? So that was my demo. Does someone else have a demo? We're gonna have a demo off now, do we?
Yeah, we have one more demo by Mike. We also did an announcement demo of like how one of his kids' rooms look.
Dinner is ready. Please wash your hands and come upstairs.
My daughter was very pleased to hear that her Lego house is going to make it on YouTube.
And this is using the new action, the announce action, right?
Yeah, so this is while the VPE's media player, you can use it as a regular media player in Home Assistant, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. But the announce feature is cool because it uses the configured voice assistant and like text-to-speech voice and everything that you've already set. So it will do all of the work for you with that, and that's what you can.
That's the new thing. Yeah, it's very lovely. Like for example, if you have like a GLaDOS voice assistant, which I think that you could actually announce as GLaDOS. That's new, which is interesting. You send text, and the voice assistant is going to say, "Okay, I need the text to speech part of the assistant to be able to convert this into audio," which is very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Marlene, you want to maybe show off some
more showing off? Yes. So besides the automation you can build, we have hidden tricks up the sleeves, like literally at the back of the device, and that is the growth port. So I'm gonna share my camera again. Camera, not me. Camera. So at the back, there's this little tab here that you can actually open, and it will reveal the growth port. I'm going to do a live breaking of this thing. So it's actually pretty easy to open that. I would recommend taking it apart first and then push it from the inside because that's the way it is. So I'm going to break it now. Oh, and it's open. And that's how you can use the growth port. And as you can see, let me place the port back. You can actually see that you can access the 4 pins of the growth port very easily at the bottom of the device. So the growth port was it's like some sort of a standard that came up by manufacturing partner C Studio a while ago. It has 4 pins, 2 power pins, like one 5-volt, I think, and ground, and then 2 GPIO pins. So with these 4 pins, you can actually connect to all sorts of sensors. And since our device is powered by ESP Home, that means that you can actually create your own device firmware for the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition, and then use the USB cable to flash that to the device. You can customize it any way you want.
Actually, you can even flash it wirelessly. So if you have it connected to your network, which you do during our onboarding wizard, you will actually be able to over the air, you can take control in the ESP Home device builder, and then you can install new firmware wirelessly. So even if it's already installed somewhere, you don't have to walk there with your laptop.
So let's take a look at what you can actually connect using the growth port. So you can actually buy it from on C Studio. They come with a nice little green box, which I love. And it comes with all these little parts here. This one is, let's see, this one is there's a lot of sensors. This one is like a beeping speaker. I think this one is, let me see. It does say it's a temperature and humidity sensor. If you want to add a dial, you can do that.
Another dial.
Yeah, have 2 dials. Like, you like dials? I heard you like dials. I'm going to add a dial on top of your dial.
Yes.
And there are many, many other things too. You can even connect with a servo. So if you want to, like, we heard like some company want to like make a robotic arm for their voice assistant. You can build one right now, by adding a servo through our growth port. I want to show you a demo. This is pretty cool. We just figured it out like in a couple minutes yesterday. Is that you can also use it to connect to like a LCD matrix display. So the way I do it is you just plug it to the growth port, and I just plug it in. So the way this standard is nice in the way that it makes experimenting with hardware very easy. You don't need to solder anything. You don't need a breadboard. You just plug it and then added the ESP Home code and fingers crossed to see if it happens. So it's not plug and play, but it's plug and a few step and play. So let's plug it in and see what happens. Cool.
They also sell adapters for the STEM Acuity line from Adafruit, and also the quick line from SparkFun that connects with these as well. So a lot of those sensors you can use with just an adapter cable.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's powered on. And
Hello world.
It says hello world. Yay! Okay, so I did a project, just like any elementary school student, their first programming project.
And so,
hello world.
Just Malay, can I show the M5 stack stuff?
Oh yes. So besides the growth port stuff, let's see what else this can connect to.
Yeah, I'm just gonna remove.
Use your camera.
I'm just gonna. No, so these are the. This is some of the M5 stack ones. They I have they look a bit nicer, as in like they look a bit more finished. One is a remote for temperature, motion we have, and light sensor. So these are really nice little things you can just plug in. And if you want even more, if you on the PCB itself, we have all the pins that we didn't use, they are exposed on the PCB. So you can connect pins to the XMOS chip, you can connect pins to the ESP32S3, so you can get even more of this. So one of the ideas that we have behind this is that, well, first of all, you should never let an unused pin go lost, right? Like always make sure people can do stuff with it. But second, we thought, like, what if people want to have a bigger project, but they want to have a voice assistant on top of that project, like a big robot or something. And so this is where, okay, we're going to make this possible, and let's see what the community can build with it.
And if you do that, like it's very easy to take it apart. There's the little feet you can just pop out. And what kind of screwdriver or screw was it, Madalena?
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
So M3 metric 3mm screw.
Yeah.
For some reason, we don't use freedom units for screws here. So.
Yeah, the cool thing is the feet, they do not have glue or anything. It's just by they're squeezed in, and you can squeeze them out as many times as you want.
Mm-hmm. That's a good segue to the next thing, because it's about modification of the casing, right?
Yeah.
And as you know,
I'm gonna put
we're not going to show that yet. We're not going to show that yet. So I'm going to show my camera again quickly. So one thing is, as Mike has mentioned, the device is actually very easy to disassemble. Of course, right? If you disassemble with the warranty and all that stuff, but you have 4 rubber feet that you can easily take it off, and inside is just 4 M3 screws. You take it apart and you can like modify any way you like. The easiest thing that you can modify is to make a wall mount, which I think Paulus has printed.
I have one. Uwe remixed one because we had so many testers for so long. Uwe made a plate that actually squeezes in the place of the feet. Like there's no screws to attach it to the voice assistant preview edition, and this fits into an IKEA SCADIS board, one of those pack boards, right? Like the big plates with all the holes you can hang your tool.
All the battle stations.
Yeah, so you can just plug it in. It still has the Grove. There's still room for the Grove port as well, right?
Nice.
So you can still. So it's really nice. Just click on it. So we're gonna link this one in a bit.
Yeah. And one of the designs actually of this enclosure is that you actually know that you can see that this is actually recessed. And what that means is that if you really want to wall mount it, with one of these wall mounts that you can print, it's that you can use an angle cable, angle 3mm jack cable, or angle USB-C cable, right? And from the front, you actually won't see the cable. It will have a very clean look on the wall of your living room. So, which is awesome. And so that's one. That's one thing you can 3D print. I have another thing that I printed yesterday, and that's is a light bulb socket. So you can actually, screw this directly to the ceiling if you want, and and then you can yell at the ceiling and have OK Nabu respond to you.
By the way, this is just so you know, this is not very dangerous because the light screw socket base is actually just a USB charger, right?
Yeah, so inside is just USB charger.
We're not wiring this.
Yeah, we're not done. Oh, actually, so here there's also a nice trick that you can actually just put a magnetic ring on it, and then you can put it on any. Any
MagSafe stuff.
Yeah,
that's nice too.
That's a clever one. Easy mod. But
this is awesome. We told our teachers, I'm never going to use trapezoids in real life, but here we are.
So speaking of things that you can print, what else we can print?
Yeah, let's put JLo on the spot because our friend.
I don't even want to talk. I don't want to talk. Let me just show them you. So by the way, I am very bad at 3D printing. All the credits that you're going to see is from Pitaya, so the creator of Mushroom Paul. And it's just
Mushroom Paul.
Black.
Ooh,
banana.
Oh, banana.
Exactly. Yes.
What movie is that?
And boom.
Oh, red and white. Those are my favorite colors.
Wow, got to capture them all.
Yes.
Anime inspired.
This is. And on my side, I just painted one. So this is painted. This is really bad.
This is really cool. I'm looking forward. Like, this is the power that we have as community, right? That we can share these models with you, and that people can start printing, designing, and sharing their own with each other. And there's so many cool ideas already during our testing phase. This is you see here wall mount by Cybernox, that he attached his voice preview edition to the wall. Like, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff, and that's also when you build for the open, you get the benefit of building for the open, right? And you get all these kind of cool stuff. So this is going to be wild. And maybe a good reason to buy a 3D printer if you've been thinking on the edge.
So
I just want to say a small thing, but important. Let me just go back. I just want to put my
actually, that's important, the disassembly.
face.
Yeah.
So with Paul, we spent a day, I think, finding the best way to disassemble the device. And for now, we are not there yet. It's a bit complex. And the guides will be available at the same time as the 3D prints. But I just want to say something. All of the 3D prints that uses the same dial. So when you see like a 3D print that uses the same dial, like button and dial that is the same color, they are very simple. All of the prints that uses something custom on the center, it's a bit more tricky, I would say. It's a bit more tricky to disassemble. And we are still working on the most repeatable way of doing it, I would say.
Yeah.
Yep.
For now, we have like, I would say, I don't know, like 5 or 6 ways of doing it. They all have their cons, so we are finding the best, easiest way to do it. Yeah.
Yo, so one thing for sure is that like this is for most people, this is the most that you should disassemble, which is just like you have the board on it, and you definitely do not take apart this part of the ring. Do not take apart of this because it is pretty intricate. It has like a Teflon ring to reduce friction, and it has like some holders to make sure that like the wheel is clicky, like metal to make sure it's clicky. So try not to take that apart. Another thing that try not to take it apart is the rubber gasket, because that will affect the audio quality. So that's why these are the things that are mounted on. But yeah, the other things you can screw this on anything if you like. So
yeah.
If you are, I mean, the good thing is that if you are, I would say, adventurous, we didn't lose any units. We broke all of them. I think with Paul we broke like 6 or 7.
We've been able to bring
we managed to put them back together. So there will be a way. There will be a guide. So, you know, I just wanted to say.
So one thing I'd want to note is that like we are actually providing 2 types of 3D files available. One is the file that the actual hardware design STL files of the enclosure. So we have like the bottom, the top, and the rings. The reason we provide that is that if you want to manufacture or produce accessories for the voice preview edition, you have the accurate blueprint of what the device looks like. Another type of 3D file that we provide, as you can see here on the links here, are 3D printable versions. So you can get it from Printables or MakerWorld. And these are actually slightly modified design, because if you actually, when you get this device hands-on, you realize that there are actually some subtle curves that are on the dial and on the center button to make sure that it's more ergonomic. But those curves actually make the print a lot harder. So the ones that are available on Printables and MakerWorld will be flattened so that it's easier for adhering to the surface of your 3D printer. So yes, that's 3D printing. Yes, have fun with it. Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least,
music assistant or music in general.
Well, now I can play Radiohead on this, I guess.
Yeah. So this is what like wait, raise the volume. Okay, sorry. I was reading a comment. I got distracted. My bad. One of the things that when we designed the device, voice was the primary focus. Actually, voice was the only focus. And so this is what we said. The speaker inside is good. This is really what I want to emphasize. It's good for voice. You hear the voice from across the room. And the microphones are also good. We are going to make demos of the microphone in a few minutes across the rooms also. That's very, very good. It's not good for music. Like there is no bass. It's small. It's too small. But we have this 3.5 millimeter jack at the back, and that's really cool.
We also know that like everyone has a lot of speakers. Like 3.5 millimeter jack, headphone jack is a very old established technology. And great speakers that were made like 40 years ago still sound amazing. So why create more ways by including more speakers in the wild for no reason? So that's why we included a speaker jack.
The audio that's by the way, like I saw a few questions. One of the questions was, can I use the audio jack with the speaker? Unfortunately, the answer is no. It's a hardware switch between the internal speaker and the hardware line and the output line. The good thing is that the output line is high quality. Like it's really what it's called, high quality. 16-bit, 48 kilohertz, which basically means that you can plug it to, well, actually a pretty expensive setup and have good quality music.
And stereo. Right?
In stereo, yes. So the speaker is obviously mono. There is only one speaker there. But if you plug it to an external speaker, it's stereo, CD quality. Well, actually, just a tad higher than CD quality. And it is compatible with Music Assistant, which means that you can bring all of the things you love about Music Assistant to this device.
JLo, I'm gonna
yes, exactly. Yes.
Explain what Music Assistant is, because not everybody is like into the system like us.
Home Assistant is a project that is now what's the term? A friend of the Open Home Foundation? No, that's not the term.
Music Assistant is a collaboration partner.
A collaboration partner of the Open Home Foundation. It is a project that has been started by Marcel, the matter expert in Home Assistant, and on the side he made Music Assistant. And in one sentence, Music Assistant is it's a perfect friend for audiophile in Home Assistant. It brings all of your music providers, cloud or local, so I don't know, Spotify and your local library, to all of your speakers. Different brands, you can group them, you can do crazy things. So if you have speakers in every room, if you have a family where one person of the family is usually listening to Apple Music, one of the member of the family is usually listening to Spotify, etc., and you also have like a local library, Music Assistant is going to merge all of these sources into a single stream it to like all of the different speakers. It's crazy. And so now in this speaker, we are adding the voice preview.
One second, JLo. Okay, I think one part of our Music Assistant that is great is Marcel built it in a way that just like our voice assistant is fully automatable and exposed, and you can tweak everything in Home Assistant, the same thing can be done with Music Assistant. So you have a lot of control about how the music is following you through the house, or where it starts playing and what it starts playing. And the music sources that JLo just mentioned, because you can stream, the Music Assistant fetches those sources, it can stream Spotify to a server, to a output device that didn't support Spotify natively.
Exactly.
Right? So,
yeah.
And that brings us to an output device that we have built,
which is the voice preview edition. Again, I mean, you actually during the first demo, the music that you heard was coming from Music Assistant. And yes, on the mono small speaker, the internal speaker is okay, right? But you're not going to listen to that. I have a video that I want to show you. Actually, I'm explaining everything in the video, so I'm just going to shut up and I'm going to share the video. Click. So, in my bedroom, I have my voice preview edition, and it is plugged to a pair of cheap laptop speakers on that side of the bed. And this is the perfect setup to show you how Music Assistant is pairing with the device and how the XMOS chip is handling voice commands while music is playing. So I'm going to start the playback in a few seconds. You will see that when I say the wake word, the audio volume is ducked so that I can speak freely the command. And you will see how good the wake word recognition is, even with music playing pretty loud. So, let's start. Okay, Nabu. Turn on the lights.
Turned on the lights.
Okay, Nabu. Turn off the lights.
Turned off the lights.
Okay, Nabu. Pause.
Paused.
Pause. All right, so this is how Music Assistant pairs with the Voice Preview Edition. I have another video which is also pretty cool, but I'm looking at the comment. It's nice. The chip is making the magic, right?
Yeah.
It's like I guess Kevin can explain it better than me, right? So we duck the volume of the music, but the music is still playing, right? When I'm saying the comment. And yes, go ahead. Sorry, I think you're going to explain so much better than me, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so this XMOS chip is kind of what really makes this device the next level in terms of actual voice experience. I mean, it's a very cool device in terms of the design, the extendability, all of that. But the XMOS chip is really what lets us kind of be on par with the, people who have lots of money to develop this and having research departments, much bigger than 2 people.
I like to tell people that I think we did this on the budget, less than the budget probably that Amazon has for the pizza parties for their voice team. Right, so.
And so here it's like, so I see in the chat it's called echo cancellation. So because the XMOS chip is actually processing both the microphone and the speaker, it knows in a way what is streamed to the speaker, and so it kind of subtracts it to the microphone, and so the microphone stream is actually very clean. I did an edit of the same exact video, but every time I say the wake word, I switch to what the voice privilege hears. So you're going to hear what the device is hearing. And you will notice that the quality is not good because the XMOS is not there for that. It's here to be voice focused 100%. That's it. That's the goal of the XMOS chip. Okay, Nabu.
Turn on the lights.
Turned on the lights.
Okay, Nabu.
Turn off the lights.
It's wild,
Turn off
right?
the
How like
lights.
all the music is just filtered out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, Nabu.
Pause.
Paused.
Always makes me laugh how I have to say pause because I'm not an English speaker. I have to say pause.
Not like pals.
Some people love the French accent,
Yeah, but Home Assistant Cloud doesn't. And if I say just pause, it's like, sorry, I couldn't understand. So that was Music Assistant. It's like, so one thing, the speaker that I have in my bedroom cost me $10, second hand. It's a really cool device to repurpose this old, like 2-channel laptop speaker that you may have somewhere. We all had these kind of things, and we are not using them anymore. It's very nice to be able to repurpose this wired laptop speaker in this way, and so that concludes more or less the fully open and customizable section. What we are trying to build here is kind of an ecosystem that revolves around the voice privilege, right? It's open source. And we want to be able to extend it, whether it's hardware, right, so a 3D printed case, extension with the Grove port, etc., or whether it's software with Music Assistant, AI, or just simply automations. Imagine now all of this combined into like a bigger devices with more sensors, more things, more 3D printed cases, more automations, more AI. And yeah, we want the voice privilege to also be an enabler to build on top of it. And honestly, I cannot wait to see what you are going to build, because we've been testing this for like a few months, and we are able to have all of these great ideas. But I mean, as soon as the community gets their hand on it, it's going to be pretty cool. And now I'm passing the mic to Kevin.
Yeah.
My name doesn't work as well as Mike's for that. Like,
Yes.
it's not as fun, right?
Talk to your parents.
Yeah.
Kevin the voice.
So I was kind of diving into this already because I'm so excited about this XMOS chip. We saw one of the really nice things there is that acoustic echo cancellation basically subtracts the current music. But like I said just a few minutes ago, this is really what takes this device's voice performance to the next level. So we use a chip from XMOS. They've been around for over 20 years. They're a company that just is dedicated to audio processing and building chips that do that very well. And so they using their work or using their chip is really what makes this voice performance excellent compared to everything else we've recommended before. So the XMOS chip is just taking in the microphones, cleaning up the signal, and it's also listening to what's going to the speaker. So it subtracts out that audio that's playing. But it does a little more than that too. I mean, it subtracts out the current audio playing, but it also tries to remove the echo from a room if there's just like reverberations. If there's like a stationary noise, like a loud fan going, it just subtracts that out from the signal. And so it just really cleans up the voice aspect of it. Another nice thing is it has automatic gain control. So the speech-to-text engine that you're running here, the model, it's getting your speech at the same level wherever you are in the room. If you're right next to the speaker, if you're on the other end of the room, you're walking around the room, it's a consistent level of volume. And that's what lets kind of these like whisper-based models, you know, they're small, but it really makes it so much better because it doesn't have to do more work. It has to just focus on the speech-to-text part. It doesn't have to worry about, well, what were they saying in this quiet part and in this loud part? And so all the major audio processing is happening on the XMOS chip, and that lets the ESP32S3 running ESP Home kind of handle the rest. So the S3 is running Micro Wake Word, personal favorite of mine, but I'm a little biased there. It's also running the media player. It's handling all the voice interactions. One nice thing about this XMOS firmware is also open source, just like everything else with the project here. And so you can play around with it. There's a lot of power in these chips. And so we're kind of using scratching the surface, getting a lot of great audio processing, but I'm excited to see what people do with access to the XMOS chip. And it's really easy. If you really want to get into the nitty-gritty details of it, you can flash firmware on the XMOS chip that you modify yourself. You just flip the switch on the PCB, and then you can use the USB port to flash it. That's not to say if we come up with a better XMOS firmware, the ESP Home team did a great work here. It will automatically flash it for you. So you don't have to be an expert on this. If we forgot a better way to use the XMOS chip, when you update the device, it will automatically update the XMOS chip. You don't notice it. You wouldn't be able to tell it was doing that in particular. So you'll always have the latest and greatest firmware that we have for the XMOS chip whenever you update the firmware here. Again, if you're getting into the nitty-gritty details, you're hacking away at the PC board. Some of the GPIO pins that are exposed on there are connected directly to the XMOS. So if you really are diving in, you can play around with it. And that picture you see in the top left corner, that kind of raw PC traces. If you want to get the soldering iron out, you can get the full debug interface. So you can really dive into it if you care about that. If you just want a good voice experience, it works great for that. And like I said, the ESP Home firmware will update automatically, so we always have the best XMOS firmware whenever you update our device.
If you want to ensure that your warranty is invalidated, get the soldering iron out.
Do you want to use the demos of the auto gains or not?
Yeah. Why don't you?
Yes.
I like those. Yeah, let's see it.
All right. So please don't laugh at me because I look stupid in these demos.
Awesome.
So again, it's a comparison. The first one is just going to be, so my phone, my camera is going to be placed exactly where the voice preview edition is. And it's going to be like an external microphone, not XMOS one, just like a phone microphone, just to give you like a baseline. Then we're going to switch to what the voice preview edition hears again. This is me talking normally, I would say. Right now I'm shouting at the microphone. That's a pretty loud fan. Here I'm talking very low volume. Very low. And now what's the VP hears? Talking normally, I would say. Right now I'm shouting at the microphone. That's a pretty loud fan. Here I'm talking very low volume. Very low.
It's so good. That normalization, this is why the models work so well, right? Like, didn't matter where JLo was standing, the audio signal was just
I like
good.
the last one because you can hear like the XMOS saying like, oh wait, that's very low, so I'm going to bump the gain. And so you see like the bumping the gain directly. It's actually interesting. And also the fan one, I was at first I was disappointed because you can still hear the fan. I listened to it a lot of time, but it's interesting. When I speak, you don't. And then when I stop speaking, then the XMOS try to bump the gain, saying like, do I still have audio? And then it's like, no, I don't have audio anymore. I don't have voice anymore, and so it stops. Yeah. So you hear the fan only at the end, actually, when I stop speaking. So it's very, it's amazing. That's amazing.
So the XMOS really tunes, especially the various algorithms, to if there's voice detected. So it'll tweak the gain only if there is voice activity. And so it just won't make it extremely loud randomly. It has to be hearing a voice at the same time. So a lot of that stuff is especially cleaned up when there is voice present, which is the important part for how we're using it, right? Yeah, like I said, this is what really puts us much closer to what the big companies can do. XMOS, they're experts at this, and so this really makes some good clean audio for the next stage in our pipeline. It also does make my life easier. So I mentioned I was a little biased. I like Micro Wake Word because I created it. So about a little over a year ago, I thought it'd be a fun thing to try, and it worked out very well, much better than I had hoped. And so the XMOS chips makes my life easier. So Micro Wake Word is what detects the wake word on the device. We don't have to send all the audio to Home Assistant all the time. It only activates when you say the wake word, like okay, pause, Naboo, or the other ones that we have. And so Micro Wake Word, I made it a bit better for this as well. We've got a new pause, Naboo model. So the original models that I created were all trained on text-to-speech samples. And that works great if you speak English with a relatively neutral accent, and it works better if you're male and female, and it also works better if you're an adult versus a child. And so it worked for some people. But to really take it to the next level, the Open Home Foundation, we have this Wake Word Collective, and many people have contributed thousands, tens of thousands of samples. And so I've been training models with those, and it has really improved the wake word quite a bit compared to those first versions. I know, JLo, when we first had Micro Wake Word running, you just had a recording of Mike's voice saying it, right? Because you could actually activate it with your
the mic button.
The mic button.
But I think I've been honest in streams before, right? Like OK Naboo for me was not working. Oh, come on! Of course,
it's good now, right?
It is working. Yeah.
This is why we didn't make the wake word Home Assistant, by the way.
It was really like not working for me, and with this Wake Word Collective and being able to train on real sentence, just like it, for me, actually, for a non-English speaker, it blew up in terms of performance. It's crazy.
Yes, and so that's really, I would say, probably the best model on the device. But we do have two other wake words that are available to start an audio pipeline. We have Hey Mycroft. That's actually the second best one. That has also real samples in its training set. So that one works pretty well across ages and accents and so on and so forth. And then the last one is Hey Jarvis. That one is actually trained on just text-to-speech samples. But for whatever reason, that phrase works a lot better for different accents, even with just text-to-speech samples. It's also a little near and dear to my heart because that was the very first model I trained that worked well. And I find it funny. Apparently, there's some popular things that involve Jarvis as an assistant. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just a fun name for like, this will be your assistant butler person. So I didn't even realize that I was.
It's the assistant of Iron Man, by the way.
Yeah. I should watch more movies, I guess. But so
Paul
we
Bettany.
Yeah.
Sorry, so Paul Bettany still won't return my calls. So
yeah.
That would be the best voice. That would be the best voice.
We do have these three wake words, but I have another one on the screen here. Stop. So we trained a new wake word, stop, and that doesn't seem particularly useful. You probably don't want to start a pipeline whenever you say the word stop. Well, it's nice because it only activates when the timer is ringing, or if you have like a large language model and it's going on a big long rant about something, you just say stop. Hey, it actually stops it. You can also stop the timer or a long text-to-speech response with just the regular wake word. So if you have Hey Jarvis as your wake word, you can just say Hey Jarvis while the timer's ringing, and that would stop it as well. And so that's another nice new feature in Micro Wake Word running on this device is we can dynamically enable and disable wake words on the device, like the stop one, or in Home Assistant, you can automate it as we've talked about. And if you've been playing around with micro wake word over the last year, if you wanted to change models before, you had to recompile the ESP Home firmware, which wasn't even really possible on the Home Assistant Green because it didn't have enough memory to compile all the machine learning libraries. If you had a slower computer, it could take, half hour plus. So this is a nice change that we can change the wake words, load them and unload them whenever we want.
And Kevin, you've put a lot of effort into micro wake word. It's super fast now. I know that at the launch we said we only support ESP32S3, like the S3 box. Nowadays, I think it's even faster, and we will soon launch a version that can work on this device, right? On the Atom Echo.
I mean, we already have that. It's launched.
Oh, it's
did it get launched?
It's been out for a while.
Nice.
Yeah. Keep up. Come on. No.
It's just so awesome.
So one of the reasons this works well on this device is like the original models, they took a lot of processing power to run it. It took like 10 milliseconds to do one inference, and it happened every 20 milliseconds. So I was using like half the CPU for that. Well, on our device here, we want to play music at the same time. We want to maybe have an announcement mixed in at the same time. Maybe we want more than one wake word running at the same time if you want to be able to stop it there. And so having smaller, more efficient models that developed over the last year that do run on the Atom Echo also makes us let us have a lot of cool features running on the S3 and the voice preview edition.
Yeah, and I think just I know that people are like, whoa, the Atom Echo can do all this. Yes, the micro wake word part, not the XMOS audio cleanup part, right? That is really the feature that puts the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition head and shoulders above all the other development boards that we have recommended over the years.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a question come up a couple of times. I wanted to just mention, people ask, what if, so you want to buy 5 of these, right? And put them in your house. What happens if I say the wake word? So what we have, Home Assistant will do the deconfliction. The first one to come in will get activated. The others with the same wake word will be told that's not your turn. I think over time we'd like to experiment with this a bit, but it does work today. So you can have multiple devices within earshot of each other, and it will still work for you.
And and even if it's not something that we are guaranteeing, because this is what Kevin was saying, like micro wake word process things by 10 milliseconds. 10 milliseconds, Shanks?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Because of I'm going to say physics and speed of sound, if they are not so close, it is usually the closest that gets activated. Yeah. And I have them in every room. Sometimes if I speak too loud, the wake word, I can hear the other one beeps, but it's always the one that is in the room that is actually activated. The only place where I have a bit of, issues, I decided that I wanted to have an issue, which is I have 2 of them in an open space on downstairs, living room, kitchen, and when I am in my couch, I'm exactly half of them. I don't care actually. I just hear the beep and I speak. I don't care about which one I speak. The only time I care is when I start timers, because I want to see the timer. But it's usually the closest, even if it's not something we guarantee, just because it's first comes, first served. It's the closest. Yeah.
But it does. Someone asks then, okay, so if I have 2 people in different parts of the house, they can still use the voice assistants at the same time, and the answer is yes. You can both be talking to them at the same time. It's just if they hear each other at the same exact time with the wake word, they would do the deep.
Yeah, the only problem would be if you say okay Nabu, okay, at the same time, exactly the same time on 2 different rows.
But those odds are quite small, I would say.
Yeah.
If that happens, you should celebrate. Buy a lot of it.
Switch wake words on one. It's super easy.
Yeah. Okay, let's. Shall we move on?
I still have a question for Kevin, because I saw it asked a few times. What if I want another wake word?
We're getting there. So people have trained them now. I have a training notebook out that you can train custom wake words with. There's a lot of experimentation that goes into it. So if you have the hardware, you can train it. You'll get a model that works. It may not work amazingly well. It may activate too much, or it may not work every single time. There's been a lot of lot of care and love put into the models that we're putting here and the training, but you'll get something usable. And I think people are trying it out, they're experimenting, and they're helping me figure out what are some good values, the various parameters and stuff to get a good robust model that works in general. And since this all runs ESP Home, you just adopt the firmware and the ESP Home device builder. You just add your new model in there, you compile it, and then it'll be just like at the same level as all these other ones. You'll be able to change it in Home Assistant on the same drop-down menu. You can automate with it any of these new ones that you add.
So I find interesting to say, because a lot of people are asking, and it's not like we don't want to open up like a custom wake word. It's more complex to build, and also like again, everything we said, like the wake word collective, the fact that we are training on real data is making so much difference so it's there. I mean, it's getting there.
Yeah. And if we build more nice and cool ones in the community, we can start, if one gets better and better, we can also with the wake word collective let's start collecting samples for this wake word or something. We've also been considering, we want to talk to different language communities. Let's talk to the French community or the Dutch community. What is a wake word that works nicely for your language, right? Because we picked a wake word now, or the other companies have picked wake words that's just something that like works kind of globally, right? Like we try to make it as uncommon everywhere, but maybe there's something that is uncommon in your language that would never work in some other language, which is actually very cool to say. So it just requires a lot of testing and effort to just kind of find something, and also getting people to agree on something is just impossible. But we'll get there.
And that's a good segue to the next part, right?
Yes.
Because we don't need to be all agreeing, because it's built in the open. If you have your own group and you want to chase something, you can build it. You don't have to wait for the user experience team in Silicon Valley to decide what the right thing is and hope that matches up with you. Now, we have said community-driven many times, and I want to actually explain what it means for a voice assistant to be community-driven. Now, Mike and Kevin, they are the only two people that work full-time on voice. All the other people you see on the stream and many other people outside that are working full-time on Home Assistant, they're only partially involved with voice. And inside a community, all the volunteers, they're also part-time involved with voice because they have their own normal lives. So how do we make this happen? Well, the people that work full-time, we focus on the framework. So we make sure that we build the tools such that our community can provide voice assistants in every language. We also help the community gather. We provide them with resources. For example, we have paid studio time for a Hungarian speaker to record their voice because there was no text-to-speech Hungarian voice. Well, now together with this person, we've collaborated. Now there is a Piper voice. So every time we build these tools, we give it to you, we make cool stuff as the whole community. For example, there was also a person from Basque land in Spain, and now he has been helping with the translations, and now there is a Basque-speaking voice assistant, which is amazing, right? Like that's something that you can do if there's somebody in the community that cares about these languages. So if you are part of the community and you want to help with voice and you haven't helped with voice, there's a couple of things that you can do. So there's 4 things. One is test sentences for responsiveness and accuracy. So obviously you will need a Home Assistant voice preview edition for this, but we do not track your data. Home Assistant has never just tracked data. We have some analytics, they are opt-in, but not on the Home Assistant voice, it's on Home Assistant itself. Home Assistant voice itself has 0 tracking. That means that if things don't work, you need to tell us. If you don't tell us, we cannot know, we cannot fix. So please, if you run into any issues, tell us which sentences didn't work, which you were expecting to work. Now, once you've reported those sentences and you're like, well, actually, let me just add those sentences myself. That's the 3rd step. You can join our intent repository. That's where we teach Home Assistant which sentences are allowed to be said and what they mean. And that means, for example, like turn on the lights in the living room. We'll teach it turn on the lights in room means turn on the lights in an area and then find an area with the matching name. And lastly, of course, you can record your voice. There's many different parts of the Home Assistant voice stack that needs voice. Kevin just mentioned micro wake word. We need voice samples for that. Speech to text. There is a Mozilla Common Voice, for example, which is a public data set that's being collected, that is being fed, basically used for every speech to text system that's being trained out there. Piper, I already just mentioned the Hungarian voice, but like you can donate your voice to Piper if you want to have different text of speech voices available. And so, yeah, we need your help, right? We're not doing this by ourselves, for ourselves. We're doing this all together for, everyone.
And for Piper specifically, if you reach out to us, we may pay for studio time specifically for languages that that are underserved, and we want voices for those.
Yeah. Now, we couldn't have done this without our language leaders. Now, Mike already mentioned the word language leaders before. For every language, even though there are many contributors, there are 1, 2, sometimes 3 people that lead the efforts for the development of that language. So they will help make sure that contributions get merged. They will address missing sentences. And they basically make sure that the quality is high, and they keep expanding the language as the support in Home Assistant for different commands is extended. And all of them, for example, also thank you so much, because they have also been early testers of the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. They've had them for over a month now. They've been invaluable in all the feedback they have been giving us, and the sprint that really happened on language support to make sure that more sentences got to like the usable level just for the launch. So thank you so much, language leaders. It's been awesome. Now, when we go on the thank you tour, I also want to thank everyone that works full-time at Home Assistant, or everyone at Nabukasa, directly. It's been a team effort, right? We see the people on the stream here. Those are the people that have been very closely involved, but there's been so many people on the hardware team that have been working on just getting the design into like manufacturability, into a reality, from getting all the
distribution, right?
Distributions. Yeah. Oh man, there's working with all our distributors, getting them all the data that the marketing team has worked out. Like the documentation team has written out extensive documentation. If you've been glued to your screen, you haven't even seen, but there's a beautiful marketing website. There's so much documentation, tutorials, and videos out there that will help you get the best and most out of your Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. And this is only day one, right? Like if we come back in a month or 2 or 3, it's going to be so much more, because our community will pick it up and we're going to all bring it to the next level.
And a big shout out to the ESP home team.
Yes.
Since this is kind of the glue that's making this all work together for us on the device.
Yeah, we're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yes.
Thanks for the hardware team for sure, because like we had so much more stock this time, and the fact that it's available right now is
I haven't checked. Is it still available?
It sounds like it's sold out most everywhere.
I actually just checked. I have the numbers. Everywhere is pretty much sold out, and we have significantly more than Home Assistant Green launched last time.
Okay.
And there's still 2 places. There's still 2 places that still have stock available. Should I mention them?
Yeah, do it.
So one is Everything Smart Home. Amazing. They have stock. And also Seed Studio, they still have some stock available.
Yeah,
so
because their webpage was unavailable for a while. That's why.
But they had a lot of stock, but now they have very little left. So it's pretty amazing. And yeah, speaking of the website, if you want to find out where you can buy them, check out this amazing website, by the way.
Yes.
Once again. And yeah, you can click on Buy Now. You can see all the distributors, our retail partners that we have. Thank you so much for supporting us.
You can just see out of order everywhere.
Yeah.
Into that.
We tried. We did. We really tried.
Damn it.
Oops. All right. Go back to the slide.
Then we already said, okay, you need to if you like what we're doing, I already mentioned Nabukasa. If you want to support the Home Assistant development, just want to support the ESP home development, all these projects, they are part of the Open Home Foundation. And the Open Home Foundation is funded by buying hardware and software from commercial partners of the Open Home Foundation like Nabukasa. So if you subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud by Nabukasa, you get super high quality, the best voices for your speech assistant. for your voice. Sorry, the best speeches for your voice assistant, speech to text, text to speech.
There we go.
And you pay our helpers, pay our salaries, right? And that's awesome because we will build more voice stuff. It's not just voice stuff that we do. The Home Assistant team is amazing. The ESP Home team is amazing. We work on everything, right? We just launched dashboards. It's been a web RTC. It's been a crazy year. There's already cool features coming. Also next month, we have some very cool tricks up on our sleeve. So yeah, please support our work. I mean, if you're still watching after 2 hours, then this please support us. We love what we're doing. We love doing it for you, and please let us do more.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
That's it. That is the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition. I mean, just to really summarize it one time up, even though it's already sold out, maybe it doesn't matter, but built for Home Assistant, super easy to set up. The XMOS processing, the advanced audio processing, it's amazing. It filters out all the noise. You can experiment with AI. You can talk to large language models. You can run speech to text, text to speech locally or in the cloud. Rhasspy speech is coming, which will blow your mind. It will run just without any extra hardware or any services needed. And it's fully open all the way. So thank you so much all for watching.
Yeah, and then I'd also want to add one more thing is if you have any questions for us, we're going to have a Q&A on our Home Assistant Discord channel. We're going to set up a stage and we're all going to be there. And and if everything we show is so magical, but if you don't believe what we said, thanks to our creator network, they already have reviews out and check them out on YouTube. Like I think there's quite a few video already. So thank you so much.
And so we're going to Discord on the Q&A, and then also lastly, we just published like a survey. If you want to help us get feedback on the things that are important to you that you think we should focus on, also fill out our survey. It only takes 20 minutes. Okay, thank you all so much. I hope you all enjoy the Home Assistant Voice Preview Edition, and we'll see you next year.
Yay.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Hey,